What's going on, people? Today I'm going to be talking about Jumanji, The Next Level, on Blu-ray and 4K. And without any other further ado, just because this video is already going to be long, I'm going to go straight into the movie itself. This movie was one that I was actually looking forward to. I didn't get to see in movie theaters. I liked the Jumanji movie with The Rock that came out it wasn't last year. It was actually a couple of years ago. And you know what? I was just looking forward to more of that. And if you are, if that is where you are coming at with this, you are going to get what you want out of it. This gives just a little bit of freshness and the switching of the characters and the introduction of some new characters to the point where it feels just fresh enough. From that standpoint, it is great. And from where I feel like this movie falls short, actually, is I felt like the only real way to step up Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle was with the action. Just give more action, bigger set pieces, and just liven it up a bit. And give us a better villain. But, unfortunately, I don't feel like that is a priority in this movie. I feel like even though you might find this movie in the action section, I feel like it is largely jokes. And they don't really take the opportunity to have some real great action here. It is just serviceable. And that is unfortunate. But if you liked Welcome to the Jungle, then you will like The Next Level. And I am actually going to give it one grade lower than Welcome to the Jungle. And I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. And getting into the video quality, starting off with the Blu-ray, of course this movie's going to look awesome. It was shot digitally, and it just really just screams for a great Blu-ray. What I can say is clarity here is around the same as Welcome to the Jungle, and that is a good thing because it looks great, and it looks great here. You can see just individual lines, and they just pop straight out of the scenery. And this movie has so much of a real dimension to it, and that is largely because of the fact that this is so crisp and so clear. And when you're talking about just the level of detail here, it is stunning, and that is just in stitches of clothing, whether it is just the clothing in modern day and then the clothing in the gameplay. All of that is great when you're talking about just the backgrounds. That's where I noticed it the most. When you're talking about like the detail in the background, in leaves, in the ground, in the dirt. All of that is excellent. And specifically in the plane scenes, I feel like that is really well done with a lot of detail as far as in the plane. And when you're in the cockpit, a lot of that is great here. And blacks dip perfectly to black. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. And that is a really good score for a movie that looks damn good. And getting into the 4K copy here. This movie has a 2K digital intermediate, so this is actually upscaled to 4K. But hey, the last film looked great in 4K, and this one looks great too. I would say that the clarity here is actually just stunning, absolutely stunning. As far as separation from the foreground to the background, I would say that this is actually upscaled from the Blu-ray. And when you're talking about detail, you get so much detail in the fibers in the clothing and in backgrounds. I just noticed dust flying around when a character just went splat. And you can see some imperfections here that you couldn't see in Blu-ray, specifically with some of the CGI moments. I wouldn't knock this video quality for that. It is more of a technical thing with the filming, not with the filming of the movie, but with the CGI of the movie. But you can see imperfections with CGI in this particular transfer. Now, when you're getting into HDR, this is absolutely just awesome. The lush greens that this movie has is just amazing. You do get some eye-blinding moments when you are staring up at the sun, and some of the, just like the heat. You can feel it on the characters, and the richness of this color palette is amplified so much by the HDR. It is wonderful. My only knock against this is I would say that the Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle movie, that movie looks so good, there isn't a real difference between the two, and that kind of hurts this a little bit. That one actually had a 2K digital intermediate too, and so does this one. I actually would have stepped that up if I was them, but I didn't. I'm not. So, for that, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. It does look great. And when you're getting into the audio here, if you watch this on Blu-ray, you get a DTS HD 7.1 mix that is pretty damn good. It's aggressive, which you want it to be. This is large and bombastic, and even though this movie isn't as larger than life as I would want it to be, and as much of a spectacle as I would want it to be, I feel like this audio is, and that is a good thing. Bass response here is excellent. Speaker separation is top-notch, and surrounds are very heavily used. I would say that even though, sometimes with 7.1, you don't hear the way back surrounds, the surrounds. They're so specific, just in my setup, they are so far behind me that I actually had to upgrade them when I started reviewing audio for you guys, just to give them an extra kick so I could hear it more. And I felt like I heard them a decent amount of time for this audio mix, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It's very good. But you are doing yourself a grave disservice if you are not listening to this in DTS-X, because that is what is on the 4K format. It is actually IMAX enhanced audio, and it is just glorious. I loved this audio track. And as a matter of fact, I love the one on Welcome to the Jungle. And if you go back, I gave that a 10 out of 10. And to preview this is a 10 out of 10 too. It's amazing. Bass response is so hefty. It shakes your whole house. I loved it. And it is very dynamic. I would say that it takes a decent amount of time for it to actually get to that level. But once it does, it just rocked me. Speaker separation is one of the areas that it really kicks it up from the DTS HD 7.1 mix. I felt like speaker separation was aggressive here, and I loved that element. And then when we're talking about the glorious height speaker work, it is great here. It was great in Welcome to the Jungle. Every single time that a character respawns in this movie, because this is supposed to be like a video game, he falls down and you can hear him falling from the height speakers, like he is falling above you. It is fantastic. And a lot of the action comes through the heights as well. Score also, that bassy bum 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 score that they do with like the heavy drums. Loved it. I'm going to give this another 10 out of 10. This is what I'm talking about, people. This is what I want. And so when you're talking about the digital copy here, this is a Movies Anywhere digital copy, which means that you can download this on iTunes and on Vudu and get the 4K copy there. And when we're talking about the special features here, we do get a hefty amount, but unfortunately all of them are on the Blu-ray disc. None of them are on the 4K disc, but you get the gag reels, which is one of the most entertaining and hilarious things here. You get no audio commentary tracks, but you do get a whole lot, I would say about 5 or 6 making of docs that go into the making of this movie, and it is interesting. A lot of them go into the CGI, which I would say wasn't done all that great in this movie, and there are some that go into the video game element here as well. I'm actually going to give this a 6 out of 10. There is a lot of them, but none of them are on the 4K disc, unfortunately. And getting into my last looks at Jumanji, The Next Level. Look, this is all about what you're expecting here. If you come in just expecting more of Welcome to the Jungle, then you are going to get that here. They mix it up a little bit, and it's good. if you are expecting for them to take it to the next level, that is where this movie unfortunately fails. And you know what? That is unfortunate, but that